Goalie?
Yeah. I was goalie and I was also like defense.
You were actually the goal, like the goal, not the goalie. You were the goal because nothing could get past you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How did you guys spend this past week? It's kind of like a mini bye for you guys early in the year. What was the focus in practice?
Wasn't really focused on anything in particular. We did some rebounding, we did some defense, we did some offense, got some shots up. Just kind of weren't focusing on anything in particular, really. Just expanding everything.
At the Marquette game, you thought that rebounding would be emphasized. Was it?
It's been more of an emphasis than it was. I would say we've still working on a bunch of other things. Like we'll do a few drills for practice, but you can't practice rebound for 2 hours, so people are going to get hurt. So it's something that you can only do for a few drills during practice, but we've definitely done it.
When you went back and looked at the rebounding, did you think it was an issue, or did you think maybe some guys were just there were bad bounces and maybe guys were kind of going too hard and kind of running into each other at times?
Yeah, I thought there was a few rebounds that we had. It's almost like too much of a good thing. Like we had 2 or 3 guys go for the ball. Obviously, it's really hard to communicate when you're doing rebounding because everyone kind of just see ball, get ball kind of thing. So we had a few of those. We had a few. They just went a lucky bounce, kind of went over our heads, even if we had a good box out. But there was a few that we just kind of missed box outs. They kind of just got into it. We, if I go to block a shot and someone else has to come crack down on my man, we just miss some of like those kind of niche responsibilities sometimes. That we've really been working on it.
You guys kind of find out a lot about yourself this week, huh? With the level of competition, the travel, and then having to go all the way across the country to play Florida State on a short rest.
Yeah, it's going to be a big week. I think everyone on the team kind of knows the magnitude of what kind of this week could mean for the program. There's a lot of good teams that we have potentials to line up and play against, but right now the only team we're focused on is West Virginia.
What do you want to see out of this team in this tournament?
Just fight. I think we've demonstrated that against Marquette. Just kind of staying locked in, staying competitive. This is still kind of a group that we're not really sure exactly like what we are yet. We don't know. We haven't really been like, we haven't had that like kind of like hit the wall, like oh shit kind of thing. Like I felt like in Marquette, like we were kind of like, it was pretty competitive all game. They were up. I felt like kind of almost comfortable during the game. I felt like we were gonna win throughout, but just kind of we had to figure out. We had to find our limits. We had to figure out what's kind of wrong with our team. No team is perfect. We had to figure out kind of what we needed to work on.
Matt said before the Marquette game that he thought you needed to get the ball even more, and that guys were doing a good job getting it to you, but you could still even do a better job getting it to you. Are you guys getting on the same page here in terms of making sure that the ball's getting where it needs to get?
Yeah, something we also worked on, kind of just different feeds. Feeding from the top. Like we're pretty good. Most of the guys on turn are pretty good when they feed from the wings. Get that dribble down, get into the post. But sometimes we miss some post feeds from the top when I'm kind of open, have my man on my back, and just kind of been working on that. It's going to come. I trust my teammates. They're not intentionally looking me off. They just don't see it. So that's the problem. They have to just learn to see it now.
Have you had to change the way you kind of communicate at all? Obviously, a lot of these guys, a lot of players in general anymore, don't grow up feeding the post or that being their first option. Mm-hmm. Do you have to be a different level of communicator? Do you have to tell guys real time, hey, I was open, you got to get it to me? Or do you just kind of let them find that out on film?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think kind of when you're on the court, I'll tell them, but you don't want to get on people when they're on the court. You don't want to get in their head, them get in their heads when they're on the court. You just want them to keep playing. But when we go to the bench, I'll tell them like, you missed me here and you missed me here. We go to film, I'll tell them you missed me here, you missed me here. We do the same thing in practice. Like we watch film of practice, and Coach Painter points out, you missed him here, you missed him here. When I'm down there, I'm trying my best to really just yell for it, like screaming for it. Really try to get their attention to make it very hard for them to miss me.
You seem a little bit more dynamic as a rebounder this year. Is that the kind of mobility, agility we were talking about in terms of ball screen defense coming up too, or is there something more to the way you're rebounding right now?
I think since I get more minutes, I've been getting more rebounds. Obviously, I think I was a pretty good rebounder last year. I've been working on some things like how to shed box outs better. With my increased quickness this year, it's come with the kind of a bigger area where I can rebound. But I always felt like I've been a pretty good rebounder. Just never had the minutes to put up those rebounding numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're your per 40 numbers are up like 2 ball rebounds a game.
Yeah, so I was just kind of really working on like just staying mobile, staying quick, and then trying to get the ball, trying to high point the ball.
You feel like you've answered the minutes question? You can play more minutes and still maintain your production that you have?
Yeah, like I think I said in Big Ten Media Day, I always felt like I could play more minutes, but obviously with Travion in front of me, you want both guys moving at the best they can. Well, there else is really no point in me playing over Travion and Travion playing over me if he's a little bit tired, a little bit sluggish.
Right.
So I've always felt like I could play a little more minutes, but this year I just have the opportunity to.
Obviously, the focus is West Virginia, but have you had any chance to think about a potential matchup with Drew Timme in the second round?
Everyone thinks about it. You look kind of at the tournament. You look at the teams we have. You look at the teams in the tournament. A lot of great teams there. But obviously, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you don't win your first game. You're not gonna play great teams losing games in tournaments. So we have to really just focus on one game at a time. West Virginia first, then we'll focus on whoever. We'll focus on whoever.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.